Hello, everyone. You are welcome to Anchor Network, where you get reliable and authentic news that are so crucial to you. I say big thank you to everyone who has been part of this channel and who has taken time to subscribe. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say please click the red subscribe button and also the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to get notified anytime we publish any news. Federal government earmarks 2.25 billion naira for Ruga in 2019 budget, says presidency. The presidency said weekend that the federal government had earmarked 2.25 billion naira for the implementation of Ruga settlement in the 2019 budget. It also said the Ruga settlement policy was discussed and agreed at the National Economic Council (NEC) with state governors in attendance, and wondered why some governors would deny knowledge of the decision. Recall that the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who is chairman of NEC, had, through his spokesman, Laolu Akonde, said there was no time the issue of Ruga was discussed at the NEC meeting. Some governors who are members of NEC have also said there was no time Ruga was discussed during their meetings and wondered how the federal government came about it. It was, however, gathered that the Ruga policy was a brainchild of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture aimed at reducing incessant clashes between farmers and herders. As a result of the controversy the policy generated, President Muhammadu Buhari directed the policy be suspended. But his senior special assistant on National Assembly matters, Senator Ita Inang, while hosting students of law school, Abuja, who are of Akwa Ibom State extraction, advised state governors, especially the ones from the southern part of the country, to embrace and support the program by making lands available for its implementation. The presidential AD disclosed that 2.258 billion naira was provided for the implementation of the Ruga program in the 2019 budget, explaining that the word Ruga was not derived from Hausa or Fulani, but an acronym for Rural Grazing Area, Ruga, initiated in 1956 during the colonial era. He said it was not intended to Islamize, Fulanize, or colonize anybody as insinuated. ENAC cited the 2019 federal budget, volume 1, under the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, item number ERGP 5208, where the sum of 2.258 billion naira was provided and budgeted for the grazing program. He maintained that National Assembly members were not against the Ruga program because they were aware of it and had approved funds for its implementation, adding that objective of the budget for Ruga was to promote cattle breeding and meat production. He added that the program was an integrated farm system which had schools, good roads, tractors and mechanization, as well as agricultural integration with a provision for primary healthcare, veterinary schools. Enang, however, disclosed that aside from the budgeted sum for Ruga in the 2019 expenditure, there was another sum provided for Emergency Ruga Implementation Program approved in May by the National Economic Council (NEC) for states that will make land available. Ndifreka Inyang, leader of the Akwa Ibom State Students of Nigerian Law School, Abuja campus, said today the distinguished senator took a different dimension by enlightening us on the issue of Ruga grazing area, Ruga. I recall that about 2 months ago there was crisis in Taraba and Benue states. Wow. You guys, you've heard it all. The amounts they've separated or they set aside for this Ruga, and there's another emergency one they've separated another amount for any government or for any governor or any state that will agree to this Ruga of a thing. And like what they are saying now, that a lot of governors are trying to exonerate themselves from the whole thing. They are trying to feel or to make it look as if they are not aware, or they are pretending as if they are not aware that they all agreed on this issue when they had their NEC meeting. And again, if the ministers for budget, Itang Enyang, that's his name, if I'm right, if I'm pronouncing it well, I'm so sorry if I don't pronounce it rightly. Ita Inyang, yeah, That's it. So if he's saying some governors are trying to pretend that they are not part of it because they were part of the meeting and they agreed on this Ruga of a thing. And it's, again, if those governors could be trying to say they are not aware, so what of the vice president? The vice president, through his spokesman, Kole Akonde, Laulu Akonde, said the the uh the vice president is not aware or is not part of it. So, and now they are saying the vice president is the chairman. If the vice president is the chairman and the governors were there holding that meeting and they agreed did to that, so does it mean the vice president will be lying, the spokesman will be lying, even all the governors will be lying? I can really understand from the side of the governors. Oh my God, I just feel like laughing. The reason why I really want to laugh is that, or I'm trying to laugh is that I'm sure the governors, they are really afraid because that there are people, they have given them hit that if you try it, a lot of governors now, they've received warnings from their people that don't just try it to bring anything. And immediately all of them started, no, we are not interested. At least I could remember Ondo State governor. He said there's nothing like Ruga. They all have ranches that they are going to follow through. That whatever benefit they think the Ruga is going to provide, that the ranches they have in the state will still provide the same thing. That when it comes to Ruga of it, that is not part of it. I remember Governor of Rivers State said the same thing, and many governors like that, they rejected it. Most especially the governors from the southeast. Those ones, they came out and you could see their blueprints, what they really stand for, and they made it clear to everybody. So because they are people, that's why we always say that the people, we don't know the kind of power we have. But most of the time, because these people, they just use little things like just intimidation and all these tribal sentiments and all manner of sentiments to try to destabilize us. And that's why we see that we don't really come together when it comes to this issue. But when the issue of Ruga came, you could see the force, you could see the unity among the masses. They said, no, we cannot take this, we cannot take that, because they had some information about that this Ruga is not going to be the way it is. And now that the Ethan is now trying to explain to this law student from Akwa Ibom extraction, and now those ones are like, oh, they are going to that it is a good thing if the governors and other people can really give out their land. I'm sure they cannot go back and tell their people that way. They can just stay in Abuja and be telling the minister for budget, Ita Hinyang, they can be telling him that, but I am sure they will not have that liver to go back to their state and be telling their governor. And meanwhile, in Akwa Ibom state, they have imported about 2,000 cattle, from Brazil. So they really want to go into that cattle rearing. Everybody, most of the governors, they've like, they don't want their people's problem, because this is the people that voted you, and they say, no, 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 you can't do that. So I think that is the reason why you see that most of the governors are just like trying to withdraw. No, we are not part of it, so we didn't know anything about it, and they are reassuring their people that don't bother. We don't have any land to give to anybody. So now the Itangiya is saying that he's surprised that all the governors, that they all agreed. What could not be happening? They all agreed. They were at the neck meeting, and the vice president is the chairman, and the vice president, through his spokesman, said it's not part of what they agreed. So what are we talking about? Does it mean the agreement was just between the Itangiya and the president? So if the vice president is saying he's not aware, the governors are saying they are not aware. So where did he have the meeting with them? I think they need to really come out and tell us where they agreed. For them now, it's not part of a 2019 budget. This Ruga of a thing. No wonder they quickly suspended it, because they know what they are doing, in their closets or behind Nigerians. So now they are coming out now that whether people want the Ruga or not, the money has been set aside for this Ruga of a thing. So if money has been set aside, it's been budgeted for, and people say they don't want it, what are they going to do? What is the next line of action? That is the question everybody needs to be asking the federal government, and they need to tell us the next line of action, just like I said. And of course, a lot of people, this Ruga of 18, created a lot of drama when it initially came, before federal government quickly just withdrew the whole thing. So they really need to tell us what the have to do with the money budgeted for, and 6 people they say they don't want it. And you can imagine they have a separate budget for it, and they say they still have an emergency for any governor or any state that we want to, agree to this thing. That means there's something that is fishy. Someone said this is the worst thing to happen to this country since independence. How much was set for education or health is a good question. For private businesses, this is higher level of corruption. Nigeria will face calamity so sooner. If the NEC had concluded discussion and arrangement about Ruga, what about the new minimum wage for workers? Still on negotiation, right? Only God will deliver this country. You can imagine those are the questions that people are trying to ask. You are not budgeting for education. You are not budgeting for health. You are not budgeting for the social amenities, something that will be of benefit to everybody. Now, like I've said before, if what they are talking about Ruga, that is there's going to be school, there's going to be this and that, why is it that there's going to be separate all this infrastructure for all those things when we already have a schools, public schools, we already have hospitals? Why can't they use those money to refurbish and to improve on those things that we already have on ground, that we are talking of dilapidation about them? No, because of this Ruga, they've quickly done some kind of thing very, very fast. And that's why some people are asking, money for budgeted for education, nothing. What the standard that they've really advised each country is maybe 25% of your budget should be on education and all of that, be within that range. But now we are still crawling on between 3% and 4%. That is what we are still budgeting for education, which is not supposed to be, and other things like that. So guys, that's just my own opinion. I know you have questions regards to this statement by Ita and Ian. I would like you guys to put down your comments in the comment section, and let's hear your own take concerning this thing. That means this Ruga, they say are going to reintroduce it, but I'm sure they don't even know how to go about it. They are looking for ways, because they know that Nigerians now, like we always say, the street language, they don't say, but Nigeria body they hot, so everybody body they hot nana. So that's why they are just trying to respect themselves and say, okay, let them suspend it. And meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom students, the law students from Akwa Ibom extraction, I am sure they can't go back to their state and be telling their people, hey, leave your land, that they've explained to us. If they can explain to you people, why can't they explain to the old people, to everybody in the country, for us to understand them? So guys, put down your comments in the comment section. Let me hear your own take. Thank you very much. Bye.